To go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get, become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comment section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to tonight's Postmatch Live. The Seattle Sounders took a trip to Austin FC and Q2 Stadium, and they'll be returning home with no points after a 2-1 L, a heartbreaker. They give up a last-second game winner just before the final whistle. We're going to be hanging out, coping, breaking it all down. I got the presser pulled up. We'll be diving into that as soon as it starts. And then taking some calls. I guess that's what we do. So once we get through the presser and I'll give some of my preliminary takes, we'll see what you guys all have to say about what I think. I don't know if it's, we'd have to go through and see if it's the worst result of the season, but it's definitely up there considering the circumstances on the table, but also how the game went. We'll talk about that because I didn't think this was performance-wise their worst performance of the season. It was one of the worst results. But I think what makes this so frustrating is that not only was a point attainable in this game, which they were seconds away from getting, but I think all 3 points were attainable in this game. Based on the run of play and the balance of play and the chances that Seattle generated. They really should have won this game. And instead, it's a second straight L on the road. They played 3 matches since the end of League's Cup. They got 1 point to show for it. Seattle did get Brad Stuvard in this game. There is no question about that. He went God mode. He went God mode. Like, there's nothing you can really say to take away from that. Some of the saves he made were incredible, especially that last one on Georgie. That was, it was a hell of a save. He had 2 other ones on Jordan Morris that were wide open. He stood on his head. So that's one aspect of this that makes it frustrating, is that the chance generation was actively good in this game. It was actively good. Usually when you generate that many chances, that many good chances, when you have the XG cooking like that, usually you score more than one. But Brad Stuvard went God mode, and Seattle gives up 2 more really unfortunate goals. This first concession, let's talk about the goals they gave up. This first concession was extraordinarily tilting because Austin FC, I was curious to see how they would come out in this game, given that they just played this big emotional US Open Cup game, last second win in that game as well. But that went to extra time. They put it in. I was wondering, how much are they going to rotate? Are they going to be tired? And what they did, Chad, is it just me, or were they doing the Minnesota United like for most of the first half? They were pretty much doing the Minnesota United. Seattle ended up with 65% possession in the first half, And I was getting a little deja vu to the Minnesota United game and the Puebla game in Leagues Cup. I was getting deja vu. All right, I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the presser here. Should be starting in a few minutes. They just brought the feed up, so I'll bring that on when they get it rolling. We'll see what Schmetz and the players have to say. They were doing the Minnesota United. That's what I was saying. They were doing the Minnesota United. Seattle had pretty much all the possession in the first half. And sorry, they're doing the Zoom audio. So I'm hearing both right now. 1 second, chat. Sorry. They pulled the Minnesota bit. And it seems like that's what teams are trying to do to Seattle right now, because it seems to work. And the one thing you can't do when teams are doing the Minnesota bit to you is you can't have sloppy giveaways and let them get out in transition. That's how you get yourself into trouble. And I thought Seattle did a pretty damn good job of avoiding that for pretty much the entire first half. And then, of course, I think it was 36 minutes. Jackson Reagan has an unfortunate giveaway that puts Rubio on a wide open breakaway, and you knew it was going in as soon as you go the entire half up to that point without letting them get an opportunity like that. Of course, the one they get is going to go in. So that was tilting, and it was tilting because it felt needless. Like everything, I thought the half was going pretty well up until that point. You get an unfortunate concession, and you're down 1-0 going into halftime. They're having tech issues on the Zoom call, so we're waiting for them to work through that. But it's distracting. I'm getting audio from both while I'm trying to talk. Hold on. Okay, I turned them off. Check. You can still hear me, right? Okay. Let's talk about the lineup, actually. Let's talk about the lineup. I meant to talk about that at the top. Snyder B gets the start, which is something that I had been calling for, but I didn't mean it like this. He was playing the lineup graphic had Snyder B at right mid, which, I'm not against it in principle. It wasn't the circumstances under which I was calling for Snyder B. But I actually feel like that worked pretty well in the sense that I thought the chance generation in the first half was pretty good. They had their looks. I thought Snyder B looked pretty good. I didn't know he played there. But there was the question of like, why is Georgie not starting? That was a question that I had. And then I guess if there's a positive from this game, it would be Georgie would be one of them. Georgie had Seattle's goal in this game, and he got it on his first touch of the match 35 seconds after subbing on, which he subbed on at halftime. So 35 seconds into the start of the second half, Seattle equalizes, and it was a great play. Moose gets a nice assist on that play, and it's a good finish by Georgie. He did his backflip. So that was fun, and that was good, and that's what they needed, like a goal early in the second half. Back to square one. All right, you got a good chance to win the game, and if nothing else, see out the 1-1 and get the point. I mean, Austin FC, we've been talking a lot about Seattle on Hangover Watch. We'll talk about that more tonight, but they're in a similar situation right now in the sense that they're dealing with an in-season tournament, U.S. Open Cup. They're hosting the final. So it's not like they were not. This was not a situation where Seattle was under it the entire game from the home team. I feel like if anything, in the first half, Seattle looked like the home team for the most part. They just didn't take their chances. Austin FC gets on the break one time, converts. But at 1-1, what was going through my head was this is a winnable game. This is a very winnable game. There's no reason at that point that you shouldn't be able to at least see out the point. And they almost did that. But I thought Snyder B looked pretty good starting there. And I thought Georgie looked fantastic. He had that goal. And then he was not like super effective throughout the second half, but then he definitely had some moments like when he gets isolated out wide and he's going on these 1v1s. It's fun to watch. He was doing his thing. And then that last chance, that was the killer, man. Brad Stuver. That was an insane save. I mean, I got to give it to him. Got to give it to Brad Stuve on that. I don't know how he got that. Jesus Ferreira looked great, man, and I feel bad for him because he set up Jordan for both of those wide open looks that Brad Stuver saved. Really could have had 2 assists in this game. And I feel bad for him because his stat line this year should be way better than it actually is. Like he and Rothrock, they both had a lot of situations like that where they set up a really good chance and it doesn't get finished. And in this case, those are like that. Ooh, that back heel setup for that first one, I think that Jordan had. I think in general, I was pretty pleased with that attacking performance. Aside from the final output, which was only 1 goal. But in terms of the chances they generated and the XG and all that, I don't think you can ask for much more in a Western Conference road match against a fellow playoff team. But I think the thing you kind of can't live with coming out of this one is how it ended. It's 1-1 in the 96th minute. You have to see out the 1-1. This kid who got the assist on that last goal, he's apparently going God mode too. CJ, I thought it was Folger, but it sounded like they were saying it different on the broadcast. I don't know. But either way, I'd never heard of him until Austin FC's last U.S. Open Cup game. And he scored their 120th minute game winner, and then he gets a 96-minute game-winning assist. Fodry? I mean, either way, I better learn his name because he's apparently hella good. Still waiting for this presser to start, guys. I got the feed pulled up here, so we'll dive into that as soon as it starts. It looks like it's not especially high resolution, but we should be able to at least see what they got to say. Who do you guys think they're going to bring out? I bet they bring out Snyder B. Might get a little Christian here. I'm predicting Christian and Snyder B. Anyway, I was all ready to get on here and talk about a 1-1 where my biggest takeaway was going to be like, I'm a little less worried about Hangover Watch. That was going to be one of my takeaways. Hangover Watch would still be on even if they had tied this game, or frankly, even if they had won this game like 2-1. It would be something that I'd be monitoring, but I would have felt a little bit better just because, okay, here we go. I'm going to hold that thought.
Hopefully you can both hear me.
Let me know if the audio is good here, guys.
The media room in Austin. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good to go. Maz, if you can hear me, why don't you go ahead and ask your question? We'll see how this goes.
Okay, all right, fellas. My question was just about you've had two results that obviously didn't go your way. How do you recover from these, knowing you've got a rivalry game coming up? Just moving forward from here.
Yeah, sorry, I was really
Moving forward after two losses.
Oh boy. Tech might not be
Ethan
might not be coming through here, chat.
go get connection on our general question there was I think it was for us all through the game. It was not our end to come out of this week that we have with games. I think in this moment we've all got to take some account ourselves to a higher standard. I'll be the game and the Miami game were my best games, and I felt more myself. I thought the team also looked more like who we are tonight.
I'm just not gonna do that, chat. That was chalked. I think that is an appropriate way to really tie off that game. I couldn't hear anything they were saying. I don't know about you guys, but it was that was beyond chalked. That was beyond chalked. We're not gonna sit there for all of that. We're not going to sit there for all that. I think the one thing that I heard Paul Rothrock say is that he felt like they looked a little more like themselves in that game, which I agree with that. I feel like it was a pretty good performance offensively. These concessions that they're having, I think if there's a broader concern, it's that's been a season-long issue, is these ill-timed concessions, but concessions that are also, it's not like the other team getting the better of you. It's you this team has self-destructive tendencies. They got self-destructive tendencies. And that surfaced in 2 moments tonight, and they take the L for it. So anyway, I'm going to drop the call link in the chat. I don't especially feel the need to stay on all night to talk about this game. So chalking the pressers, honestly, that's okay with me. I'm going to drop the call link in the chat. And if you guys have thoughts, takes, observations, agendas, and grievances, feel free to hop on and lay down some takes. It was good to see Jordan Morris back out there. Like I know that he gets both of those pretty wide open looks saved. But I'm willing to chalk that up to him regaining his fitness, getting back in the groove. Hasn't been playing a lot this season in general. So I think there is encouragement to be taken in that he looks dangerous. He's getting into good spots. God, that both of the balls that Ferreira dished to him to set up those chances were fantastic. It's how you want it to look like between those two. They got good chemistry working. So that was good to see. Georgie was a bright spot. This game was not devoid of positives. In fact, they were right there. They were 5 seconds away from taking a result, but instead they take the L. We got Dusty in the queue to get us going. Going to bring him on in just a second here, and we'll see what you, the people, have to say. Drop the call link in there one more time. I still don't know how to pin it. Sorry, guys. I keep telling myself I'm going to learn how to do that, and then I don't. All right, Dusty, no video, but I got you on the stage right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me?
I got you. Yes. 2-1 L at Austin FC. Last second concession, a Georgie goal, but in the end, a second straight loss. How are you feeling?
I mean, the team looked like for 90 minutes we did look a lot better than we did for the last two games. So that feels a lot better. But at the same time, like we've now all but statistically eliminated ourselves from being able to host home playoff games. And I just don't like unless we can actually get Morris, Rusnak, and Pedro like 90-minute healthy for the playoffs. I just don't see any way that we can actually make a run in the playoffs.
Not having home field, even if you have those guys, it's a pretty tall order, man. Like that. But the De La Vega thing that's looming large right now. Like he wasn't even in the squad these last two games, so that's not good. If they're gonna make a run this year, they need him fit.
100%. And I know he was like listed on the bench, but
was he?
Saying the like knee tendonitis thing, and I know I don't know if it was like people talking in the Discord or what, but I know people were speculating that like realistically he probably wasn't gonna play. It was just like trying to keep him connected with the squad. But like I don't see a way where we can really make a playoff run with the way that we've been playing unless everybody's healthy. And like we haven't really had any indication that that's going to be the case. So like at this point, I think the Leagues Cup is the most important trophy in MLS play, and we should just be happy that we're done with the season. It's over. Nothing matters anymore.
So you're at it's chalk.
I'm full doomer at this point. Like the way we've played the last couple of games, I just don't see a way that we can make an away run through the entire playoffs at this point.
I'm not full doomer yet. If they looked like they did in the Miami game and took the L that way, I would probably be closer to full
for
doomer.
Sure.
I feel like we saw some good stuff in attack tonight that was reminiscent of the team that we've loved watching the last couple months. So that gave me a little hope, I guess, that they can tap into that. But just the concessions they've had in these games they've been tough.
Well, and like for a lot of this game, it felt like I was watching last season's team again, where we're able to just dominate possession.
Yes.
Like we're able to maintain the ball the entire game. We just can never figure out how to get that last pass, how to actually get a ball on goal. And then, Jordan has two like huge breakaways and can't get either one can't convert either one. And I feel like we're reverting into last season's team again, where we're able to make a bunch of great opportunities. We're just never able to put anything away.
It was shades of 2024 in that way. The XG merchanting, it did kind of feel like that. I was going to bring that up. All right, Dusty, I got a few people in the queue behind you here, but any last thoughts, takes, observations, grievances you want to get out there?
Man, I hope they prove me wrong, but I just don't see us making a big run. But Leagues Cup is the most important trophy, and we already won it. So this season's already a win, and I'm okay with that.
I've always said that Leagues Cup is the most important trophy that any team plays for. I've been saying that for years. Dusty, great call. Thanks for hopping on, and we'll talk to you on the next one.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Have a good night.
Take care. All right, we got our guy Hunch up next. We got Parker after that, and Caleb after that. Hunch, bringing you to the stage right now. Hunch, talk to me. 2-1 L at Austin FC. Last second concession. Second straight L. How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, not great. Like I said, last time this game was really going to be compared to the last home game. Miami was whatever.
Yeah.
But now taking it collectively, it's not great. I don't think the Miami game makes it any better or worse, but obviously 1 point out of 9 tells a story.
Yeah.
I would say this. They could have clinched a playoff spot tonight, as well as potentially stayed in contention to move up or fight for fourth. not players exclusive, but I mean, did that look like an effort of trying to clinch a playoff spot? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if they had tied that game, would I have said yes to that? Like, does the last concession make the difference on the yes or the no there? I don't know. But I felt like the effort and the intensity I thought were okay, like given the portion of the schedule that they're in, and they've been on the road, and they put themselves in position to get what under normal circumstances if they hadn't dropped so many other points this year, including in this Galaxy game, 1-1 at Austin's like a fine result. So it's just in the context, it's not good. Like you need to be getting home field. So
Well, and I mean, we're going to talk about some curious things here. People were banging the drum about Steph after the Miami game. He 1v1 Messi twice, took him down. Andrew had a 1v1 here. Was anybody banging the drum about that? Probably not.
It's something that's going to be talked about. I mean, he had what was going to be a point-saving save until that last goal, but Stuver went God mode. But
yeah, he did.
Andrew Thomas, like that was a big save. Like that was huge, and I don't know.
I have no
where are
doubts
you
about
at
Andrew.
with that? Where are you?
No,
at
I have no doubts about Andrew, but I'm not going to prop up Andrew to push Steph out. And Steph, I mean, again, he 1v1 Messi multiple times. He's not shocked by anything, any measure of that. I would have used Andrew and let Steph rest. I would use Andrew in Miami and use Fry here, but that was already what it was.
I meant to double check this. Wasn't Fry sick or something? Isn't that why he started
today?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
I think that's what happened.
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like Fry would have started this game, but he got sick.
Well, I mean, with the travel, he could potentially picked it up, cross country through the airport. You never know.
Yeah.
Rusnak was not looking too hot. Obviously, he doesn't look fit in terms of like 90-minute fit. And then, Jesus really unlocked some things. But in the same way, people will crack on Jesus for missing shots. I mean, Jordan, come on, man. He's a DP. Like
those were tough.
Yeah. I'm not bagging him at all. I'm not down on Jordan. I'm not down on Jesus. I thought Jesus had a great game. I'm not down. I'm just saying, like, it's funny how people want to pick on some people and ignore, similar performances. I thought Georgie looked good. You should probably have started. I would have. I thought Snyder looked great, but I would have subbed him. Like I would have planned him as a halftime sub.
What did you think of him starting at right mid?
He looked lost.
He thought he looked lost. I didn't think he looked lost. I was just surprised to see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying he wasn't confident and purposeful. I'm just saying I don't think he had the chemistry as he would normally in terms of like what's in front of him, what's behind him, what's next to him. He just didn't look as formidable as we've seen. But I would have brought him on the second half, maybe even at halftime. A little bit of a worn down other team, slightly, especially given there's gonna be cooling breaks. And you saw the layout, like you've started the game and you've seen what their lineup is, and you really give him instruction, bringing him on the second half. It's like, here's who I want you to attack, here's where I want you to slot in, here's what I want, as opposed to, well, we start both and see what we get. I think that would have been a bit smarter.
It was an unexpected place, I thought, to see him play that position in an MLS game for the first time. But I guess it does show the trust that Schmetz has in him. Hunch, I got a pretty packed queue here, but any last thoughts or takes you wanted to get out there?
Missing Vargas, missing Reed, I guess, for Saturday here with Vancouver, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, they're both off to the U20 World Cup.
So I mean, you talk about Snyder, why not bring him on the second half of this game in that center role, or whoever's going to need to be there when Vargas is gone for Vancouver, and let them get some feel? Like, why didn't that happen at some point during this game, knowing you're going to, I mean, I know they're going for the win here, but I'm saying, like, you got to line that up knowing those guys are going to be gone. Who's going to fill in for Vargas? Was it Leyva? I don't know. Maybe I would have started him.
Yeah, I wish the presser the tech had been working, because I'm sure Schmetz would have got asked about that. We'll have to see what he says, but
All right. Well, fingers crossed for Pedro, because
yeah, I mean, for real.
it's becoming ride or die with the season based on him, and that's unfortunate because he's just coming into form. So
Yeah, exactly. All
right,
right,
man.
Hunch. Great
Yeah,
call
thanks.
as always. Appreciate you, man, and
Yep.
catch you on the next one.
Bye.
All right, we're gonna bring Parker on next. He was next, bopped out and bopped back in. So we're gonna do Parker, then Caleb, then Tyler, then we got Jordan after that. All right, Parker, what's up, man? Talk to me.
Hey.
2-1 L at Austin FC at the last second. How are you feeling? What do you think?
I'm good. I'm still happy about us winning the Leafs Cup.
That's like the Cloud9 does not have to diminish based off these how these games since the final have gone. Like I think that is valid to. It's not cope to say I'm still happy that they got a trophy, even though the response since league play has started hasn't been great.
The most important trophy. That we've
The long talked about most important trophy. Yeah.
right. I mean, yeah, I guess overall, what are your sentiments? Like, what do you?
I mean, I guess like I said, if they had won that, which they were 5 seconds away from doing, I would have been like pretty encouraged. Honestly, like I wouldn't have felt it would still have been not a great result in terms of like the table and like playoff positioning and all that. So that would have been a negative. But as far as the performance and the chance generation and how they played overall compared to the Miami game, I thought this was much better than that. So it's just the way that ended, and now you get 0 points out of it. It's just it's a terrible result. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's tough because it's like, okay, the team that we're playing right now is not symmetrical with who we played with our run in the Leagues Cup. And so it's like but you can't just sit Jordan because he's incredible. So, do you ride the hot hand? Do you give him more minutes as he prepares for the playoffs? And I think Smets is making all the right choices. He's proven time and time again that there's no better coach than he. He does it perfect. I'm just like, it sucks that this late into the season, because usually we're like, it's not uncommon for us to have a really slow start to the season and then pick it up. It just sucks that we're picking it up now with, weeks away from the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't think there's a chance that we get home advantage in the playoffs unless we like.
It would take like a lot of help from other teams at this point.
It'd take a lot of help from the East, and that's the only way that we make it at home for the final.
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean, I'm
a
more
lower
worried
seed
about.
would have to take it.
I mean, at this point, like if you don't finish in the top 4 in the West, the idea of making it to MLS Cup is just, I mean, you never know. You could go on like a god tier run in everyone else's stadiums, but that's a lot harder to do than even if you got 4th and got to at least started at home.
Yeah, 100%. And my point in starting with Leagues Cup that we won it is that I honestly don't really care if we wash out. Like if we make it to the first round of playoffs, which we will, and we lose, whatever, hit the reset button. It's gonna suck for our roster. I think that's one downside if we don't get our crap together right now, is that we don't get to see what could have been.
Yeah,
It
would feel
the roster that we have.
If they don't get home field and they like lose in the first round, it would feel like a pretty big missed op to me, just because we've seen the top level that this team can play at and the depth
Absolutely
that they've
insane.
demonstrated. And that, like, the top level that we've seen this team play at is good enough to make an MLS Cup run. It's just right now they haven't really been able to recapture that in any of the games since Leagues Cup. And then if they don't get home field, it's pretty, I mean, what are the odds that you just rip through the West, like playing at that level on the road every game? I don't know. It's just,
I don't know. We can hope. Couple of takes. I'm not mad about Jackson Regan, and Jackson Regan hasn't been my favorite, but like obviously he's proven himself. over the last few years, and I like him now. But I'm not mad about that giveaway. What is disappointing is that he like let his head down on the run, and it wasn't a like an Alex Roldan or a Christian, like I'm putting my whole heart and soul into this sprint. It was a I gave up, I screwed up. And so like I don't look, people make mistakes. I don't care, but what is sad is that he gave up. He like accepted the mistake after.
It's another one of those individual errors, miscues that, I mean, it feels like something that happens to a team that is fatigued. Like it's, in the Miami game, Christian had a few that we're not used to seeing from him. Jackson Reagan, we're not used to seeing him give one away like that. Like,
No, yeah.
it's out of character, but it's also, I mean, in a game like this on the road, that can be the difference. And in this case, it was the difference between at least getting a point and not. So,
Right.
but that is like a kind of a season long issue as well, is the
giveaways on our
unforced errors. Yeah. Self-destructive tendencies. Parker, I got to keep pushing through the queue, but feel free to dish any last takes, observations, thoughts, on these on the stretch run here and going into the playoffs.
Yeah, just appreciate the community here. Love being Scorchers. Keep up what you're doing, and I'll catch you guys later.
Hell yeah, appreciate you, man. We'll catch you on the next one. All right, we got Caleb up next. He's at his drum set. He's ready to go. Caleb, welcome in. He's got the De La Vega. He's got the De La Vega jersey on the bass drum. That's fire. Caleb, 2-1 last second at Austin FC. What'd you think? How are you feeling?
To be honest, okay, I'm gonna be I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of Sounders fan because I'm gonna probably be like a Taylor Twellman speaking kind of like, complex like or context. Because to be honest, Seattle, I knew we were gonna piss things away because I'm just gonna say this, please don't take this personally, but you and many others, y'all were so putting your head up the buttholes, like, about this Leagues Cup and really being distracted about everything else. And now that these results are really kind of biting us in the butt, like, we kind of actually need some help right now if RSL is actually winning 1-0 right now. So this really is kind of like, yeah. You see that's the arrogance of us Sounders fans. We're only have our head only up in our only nest, but we don't look at basically the attackers that's got the shotguns, that's got the air, the air strikes that's really going to try to strike, that's going to strike us down. But we only keep on looking at what's inside of us instead of looking and scouting, which I thought that Sounders were the number one great scouting in, had the best scouts in the sides of the league. But, I'll you can maybe quote me or dethrone me on my back quote or whatever, but I knew that we were going to piss away, the top 4 seed because we were so fixated on Leagues Cup. I'm happy that we're not going to get this 4th seed. I hope we don't get this 4th seed because we really need to start learning how to start winning games on the road. Because we've already had, I'm going to say this. Nico Moreno's been a pussy of excuses about talking about, getting the results at home and not wanting to win on the road. Jeremiah O'Shan has been complacent about not wanting to tell the Sounders about how to winning on the road. You, Noah, and many other pundits have been very, very quiet about what it takes for the Sounders being a good road team. We've all been having our head up our ass about being such this home dominant. But I'm like, look, there's going to be in times in favor where it's not going to work out, where we're going to have to go on the road. We're going to have to go see games that we don't want to see. We're going to have to probably go up against an opponent in their home that it's the last thing we want to do. But hey, this is what we get for the complacency. This is what we get with complacency. And this is on Brian. This is on. This is not just on Brian. This is on all the coaching staff and all the players together because they knew that this was going to be this last stretch was going to be important, and especially now that we have Vancouver and Portland coming up, come on. Like, you really think that we like, you want to think we're going to have good results against them? I don't think so.
All right. A lot there. As far as the road form goes, it has not been that good this year. I think Seattle traditionally or like historically has been a pretty good road team. They won 8 road games last year. They've won 4, I think, this year. Usually, I think I always say you want to win like 5 to 6 as a baseline. And then if you do that and take care of business at home, you should at least be in competition for a top 4 spot. But this would have been an okay road result if they could have seen out the 1-1, but it is another L on the road, and they have not traveled very well this year. You're wrong about that, or you're not wrong about that. Sorry. As far as
I still refer. Oh, okay.
As far as overconfidence and complacency goes with Leagues Cup, I mean, I just think it's a reality of the situation when you're playing an in-season tournament and you make a deep run, which in this case they did. In this case, they won it. Like that, combating or minimizing the residual effects that come from that in league play is the challenge that you're going to have to deal with. So, I mean, I've just been talking about it from that perspective. Like that's what hangover watch is. That we saw what happened in 2022. It's not like a novel thing to afflict an MLS team. Like any MLS team that plays in an in-season tournament and makes a run is going to have to reckon with that. So, I mean, so far they're not doing it that well, and we'll see if they can right the ship. So I think,
and I'm just going to say, I just wanted to say just like a couple more things, and because I know you have a lot of more, I know you have like way more, a lot of people that have better perspectives than probably I do on your platform right now, if I may. It's just like for me, like wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I'm just saying like this: we beat Messi in a final, but like, yes, we did beat Messi in a final historically, but I'm going to keep saying this, which I know a lot of Sounders fans don't want to hear this, but 13 consecutive years, we still have yet to win in Salt Lake.
That's
Understand that.
That is a wild stat.
13. You know the word, the meaning of consecutive is, right?
Yeah.
What is the meaning of consecutive?
In a row, 13 in a row.
13 in a row, but yet we will always be pussies and grab other trophies and talk shit other places. But you, Nico Moreno, Jeremiah O'Shan, every Sounder at Heart pundit and every Sounder at Heart listener will never come to Salt Lake and see what the problem and talk about the problem of the 13 years that we have on that problem. But yet we can all boast about the Paul Rothrock jersey swap. We can post about all these other great, fantastic wins, heart tenacity, growth, like, homegrown players and everything, but yet still 13 years and majority of that is under Fry. I'm just going to leave it like that. And because I know you have others to go to. So I'm just going to end with that.
All right, Caleb. Thanks for the call. Blazing hot as always. And we'll catch you on the next one, man. Take care. Caleb always comes in with the heat. He's always going to come in with the heat. I either didn't know or forgot about that RSL stat. It's not the number one thing on my mind week to week is the away history at RSL, but it would be a nice streak to break. He's not wrong about that. All right, we're going to bring Tyler on next, and then we got Jordan, then we got Kenny after that. Tyler, welcome in, man. How are you feeling? 2-1 at Austin FC. Last second game winner conceded. How are you feeling? What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, not great about the concession, certainly. I don't think anyone's feeling great about that. I think the main thing I want to just kind of like throw out into the ether is I just continue to be confused by what the plan is with an older lineup post. We're at 42 matches in all comps right now. And I am seeing things like, Christian Roldan is very tired. he's a tired man. He needs to be allowed to have a nap because he is a really good player who is playing with the heaviest legs that I think I've ever seen him play with right now. It's pretty obvious, at least to my mind. I mean, other people may disagree, but I think that there seems to be an issue with an understanding between like, okay, so you're going to potentially have this Leagues Cup hangover. And I just really would, I think my biggest frustration is that I would have liked to see a more coherent plan for how to deal with that. And I would have been fine with them sitting most of the older guys, like sit Yamar, sit, play Stu Hawk instead of Yamar, play literally anyone instead of Roldan, just because the thing is that these results have been super frustrating, but I think that they're mostly frustrating because we're running out first choice lineups by and large. I mean, depending on how you want to look at it. And at the same time, we have kind of two competing interests. The first is we've got to get these guys who have been injured reacclimated so that during the playoff runs, we do have fitness from Jordan Morris. We do have fitness from Albert Rusnak and these other guys. But at the same time, we're putting them into teams that are tired. And I think we're seeing fatigue from Reagan. I mean, I personally think, again, Reagan has not looked sharp since Leagues Cup finished. I think it's probably some fatigue factor there. Roldan, I'd love to see Obed get a night off every once in a while. And I know we don't, we're missing JP. We're missing a bunch of pieces that we would be using to do this. But I think that sometimes you just have to force the issue, as Brian has done in the past, like when we went to Austin 2 years ago or 3 years ago, wherever it was, and they just basically swept the bench onto the field and we're like, good luck, guys, and we're going to sub Rui on at 70 minutes and who knows what happens, but this is what we're doing. I mean, I would have personally loved to see something like that over the last couple of weeks, because it's just, I'm now nervous that this is just compounding a number of issues: morale, fatigue, vibes, all kinds of things that you want for playoff runs. And, the guys are not going to be happy with the 96-minute concession. But I thought what Rothrock said in his 2 seconds of being on the presser was really interesting, where he was trying to say well, we're going to try to hold ourselves to a higher standard and everything like that. I don't think any fans think the Sounders are not holding themselves to a high enough standard. I think it's pretty obvious they are doing their best to compete. The question is how they're being put in a position to succeed. And right now it just feels like there doesn't seem to be a plan to grapple with the reality of an older roster playing 42 matches, and now we're at the end of the season. So that was a long run for me. I don't know what your thoughts are, Ari, but I'd love to hear the minutes management. Roldan's at almost 3,400 minutes right now. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think we can start there because, I mean, we've been talking about that for a couple months at this point, how the double pivot never rotates and Christian Roldan plays every second of every game. And we've wondered if how sustainable that is. I think you've seen examples of the effect that can have. I think mostly in the Miami game. Until this last set of games, I had sort of come off the pounding the table for the double pivot to rotate thing because he was running it out there every game and the team was blazing hot. They were taking results. They were 10-1 and whatever since Club World Cup, basically, running the lineups that he was running. So if your level stays that high and you're taking the results and you're scoring a bunch of goals, then I'm not going to question the lineup that much. Those are the results that I want to see, the performances I want to see. But I think we are seeing in these last few games that it might not be sustainable to, at least specifically with Christian, play him and start him every game. But it's also tough because I thought the double pivot actually was pretty good tonight. Christian had the ball over the top to Moose that set up the Georgie goal. That's the Christian we all know and love. So that was good to see. And then Obed, oh man, that one run that made,
drive was crazy. Yeah.
God, that was one of those ones where when he got on,
price went up on that touch, I think.
Yeah, he missed the shot, but that run was fantastic. So it's when you total it all together over these last few games and you have the amount of individual errors that we've seen, and I think to me it's pretty clear that at least some of these are due to fatigue. So I don't know how much of it can be accounted for with rotation and how much of it might be kind of inevitable when you're coming off a big tournament like that. But either way, like if they're gonna stay in the mix for home field, which is gonna be tough, but they're not like totally out of it. They're just gonna have to hope that they can get a little rested and healthier, and that's basically the situation right now.
Yeah. And I think the last thing is what do we do with our dead ball chances, man? Like what are we like how do we do anything with them? I mean, I think it was like another 10 corners tonight.
13. I think it was 13
corners. I mean, we have literally generated one goal from not corners, one goal from dead ball play the entire season in MLS. Leave aside the great, we had some great play in
Leagues Cup was finally the set pieces were
Leagues
looking
Cup,
good.
yeah.
They were looking good again.
They looked like they kind of had a plan and stuff, but and even tonight, I mean, it's like back to the same thing. I just don't see. It's the same guys taking the kicks, dude. That's the thing that's crazy. Like, it's not like they had Leva taking the kicks in Leagues Cup and then they put Rusnak back in for MLS. It's basically been Rusnak or occasionally JF or JP at the beginning of the season when he was subbed in, but mostly Rusnak. And I mean, it's wild. It's getting more wild by the minute to me that we can have a game with 15 or 13 corners and we don't even get like really. I mean, I guess Stuver.
Well, they had the one. Oh God, they had the one
I mean,
really great look.
You're right. I should be fair and say like that was pretty well taken. But
no, but I mean, your point stands overall. Like the set pieces, have not,
larger.
It was a strength. It was a strength of the team last year. I thought. At least,
I mean,
maybe not corners, but dead balls. Certainly, Rusnak was nails on those last year.
Yeah,
and he's just getting back. And I thought his dead balls were looking a little better before he got hurt, and then. Just the ones they drew up for in Leagues Cup, I felt like they were executing those pretty well. So hopefully they can get that back because that's something that can really help in a game like this when you have 13 corners. Like to be able to.
I mean, the book on Seattle is out too. Like it's pack. You're not trying to run with them. You're not trying to high press with them. It's pack it into your side of the field, and Seattle will give you a chance to get out on the break. This is another like 59-41 possession game. Like it was 65-35 in the first half. It's just like the book is everyone's read the book.
It's out.
So that's the thing where it's like when you have guys that are great in the air, and I mean Osaze is great with his head. We've got Morris, who is obviously not known to be great with his head, but is pretty good on set pieces. Obviously, Yamar Reagan, all these great weapons, and the fact that we haven't converted more than one is pretty wild. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that and let you get on to the rest of the queue. But thank you so much, Ari, for holding us into this bitch session and letting us kind of dump out here. But
always, that's what it's here for, man. Great call as always, Tyler. Appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah, take care. All right, we got Jordan, we got Kenny, and then no one else in the queue after that. I'm going to drop the link in one more time. Probably not going to go all that long tonight, but I'll drop this link in right here. And if anyone wants to tap in after these last two, I'll hang around for a little while longer. If everyone watching right now could please like the video. I don't know if I emphasized that enough yet. Please like the video. Sub to the channel if you haven't. Rate 5 stars. All that good stuff. All right, we got Jordan. Bringing him to the stage right now. Jordan, 2-1 L at Austin FC. Last second concession. Second straight L. 1 point from 3 matches since the amazing Leagues Cup final. What do you think? How are you feeling?
Shit happens, man. Like, listen, I do not understand the massive crash out because at the end of the day, we follow a team in an American sport. So we go to a playoffs. And I've watched Seattle play a home game against teams that sit back for 120 minutes to take it to penalties and knock us out at home. If that has to happen, it has to happen. I'm not concerned about it. We lifted a trophy. There's no need to crash out. People freaking out over this kind of stuff. Shit happens. You know, you got a goalkeeper who played like 2 goalkeepers today for Austin.
Yeah.
It's not like Seattle scored a lucky goal to make it 1-1 and then twiddled with their thumbs the whole time, right? If we sat here and watched a game where Seattle didn't try to win it, then I would be upset that we then concede in the 96th minute. Whatever. It happens. The only reason I'm slightly upset about this result is I'm flying into Seattle on Friday to go to the Vancouver game, and a 1-1 draw on the road before a home game against a Cascadia rival would have felt a lot better
Yeah.
than a loss. But we went all out for a trophy. We won the trophy. You reap what you sow. We played against Messi in Lauderdale, whatever. It's a long road trip on short rest. This is also a game on short rest. And the way I look at it, just get into the postseason and go from there. Seattle's won it from 6th place. We won it in Toronto.
Yeah.
So whoever's in goal is in goal. If it's Steph, if it's Andrew, you just got to support the team. There's no need to freak out about results. Again, like I said, we watch an American sport. So it's not like this was a must-win game. If this was any other country where you got to win it in 38 games or whatever, then sure, be upset because this is drop points. I'm not worried about an away game. The team can handle it. They'll be fine. I believe they're going to be okay.
I love this take. I think there is a lot of truth to what you're saying.
Also, I've said before I'm an Arsenal fan here. I also just watched conceding in the 9th minute and then watching 90 minutes of Pep Guardiola park the bus. So
that's classic.
Having to then watch more park the bus today, I thought my pain was over, and now I got to watch it when Seattle versus Austin. But people need to understand. It doesn't matter. Like, I always see people get upset. Well, we're not winning the Supporters Shield, and we're not first. 4th place and 6th place led to 2 MLS Cups. At the end of the day, a 13-year no win in Salt Lake. In 13 years, how many trophies have we won? Losing to one team away from home means nothing as long as you have the silverware to back it up. You can lose against one team. Everyone's got bogey teams. It's not like we're watching a team. We're not supporting, LA Galaxy this year who are dropped off the face of the earth, or other teams who are constantly at the bottom of the table, the Earthquakes every season until this year. Like, we're watching a team that gets into the playoffs and wins trophies. We're not watching a relegation fodder team. So believe in the team, believe in the coach, believe in the players. Let them get their shit right, get to the playoffs, and go from there. It's that simple. There's no need to crash out. It would be so much worse if this was the game to secure playoffs and we dropped out of the top 9. We're most likely going to end the night in 5th unless LAFC loses. It's okay.
They were losing apparently, which I thought was surprising. I haven't been watching that, but let's see.
Well, when you can pay $30 million for
still 1-0 first half stoppage time, still 1-0. Let's go RSL. Nope, they just tied it.
Well, when you're able to buy a $30 million player and splash out on one guy,
yep,
that's the difference. We're outside of Clint. Seattle has not gone out and dropped the bag, and that's fine because we're
not
still
to
winning.
the extent that they did.
Yeah, well, you're talking about the guys who are like 15 million, like 7 million. For MLS is big, but at the end of the day, LAFC's bought Bale, Chiellini, Son. They get all the big names. They got one thing to show from it, and that's it. So, I'll take my team. I'll take the result for tonight. Please, for the love of God, just win on Saturday. I'm flying from California. I need this, please. That's all I care about.
Just get the dub for Jordan. That's got to be the name of the game against the.
Yeah, I'm sat right behind the supporter group. So I'm hoping for the best. Hoping for the best for this week.
Hell yeah, man. Well, great stuff. I think I kind of lean more towards how you feel about it. I think the thing that's just like about this game is just how it ended. Like I think the difference in vibes
conceded,
between
yeah.
if they had just won to that compared to giving up the goal to lose it. Like if
It-
they had
it
won
is,
to
yeah.
that, I would feel pretty good right now. But them giving up a goal right at the very end at the last second, that doesn't necessarily that shouldn't like change how we feel about how the team played. That
It should suck.
much.
It sucks. It does suck. It hurts to concede in the 96th minute, but to go full blown like the coach and the keeper and the defense, bro, they just came off. Austin's won what 3 games in the last kick of the ball multiple times in the last couple of like. It's a team that leaves it late, wins it late. You're away from home. You haven't been at home in a week, basically. Yes, you might be training at home, but you've been in and out, flying through the state. Like, listen, we got games. We're almost certainly the only reason to crash out is if we somehow drop out of the playoffs. And that will be the only reason to start calling for people's heads. If that happens, sure. But I don't think it will. And so there's no, just take it, take the gut punch, roll with it, learn from it, take it into Saturday, and kick Vancouver's ass.
Love it. All right, we're gonna get Kenny on here next, but Jordan, great call as always, man. Appreciate you, and we'll
Have a good night,
catch you
guys.
on the next one. All right, take care. All right, we got Kenny. I think to close it out, unless anyone else taps in the next few minutes here, but how long do we really need to talk about this, L? No, we don't need to go all night on it. Kenny, what's up, man? How are you doing? 2-1 L at Austin FC, 96-minute concession. How are you feeling? What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I want to. Are we freezing up?
You're freezing up a little bit. I still hear you.
Alrighty. So I want to piggyback off what some other people said. Here we go. Okay. Jordan was before me. Yeah, he was making some good points, but it's not that he was saying he would be mad if we were lacking effort or if we were falling out of the playoffs, but that's not what we've been talking about for a full week. We've been talking about, is this a hangover developing? Is this a hangover developing? And he was also wrong on one point. We did not win a trophy finishing 6th. We finished 4th in 2016. We've actually only finished lower than 4th one time in our MLS history, and that's after winning Conca Champions. I don't want to see that kind of thing happen again. I like our historical, regular season effectiveness. But this MLS 3.0 shit, they're throwing a lot of games and a lot of cups at us, and the roster's getting stretched pretty thin. So in these last couple years, I can understand why that 4th place. And there's more teams, more travel. It's just more to do in MLS. But I think finishing 4th has to be a benchmark, and if not, it's a below average regular season for us.
Yeah.
Inarguably, that's a below average season. And so my problem here isn't that the team stopped trying or that we clearly lack quality or we forgot how to defend or these kinds of things. It's sometimes situational decision making. And these are things that are going to affect us in the playoffs. And also, I'm not trying to crash out. I know I'm getting.
No, that's what it's here. That's what this show is here for.
I love my Sounders.
If you need to crash out, then you can crash out.
So the thing is not that we aren't trying or we don't have quality. It's that there's situational decision making that's not good. There's not tactical, but the lineups and the rotations have just not been acceptable to me. This is the back-to-back road games in the South is a perfect time to just run the kids out there, get a 1-0 in Austin from a 45-yarder from Jordan off the bench. You know what I mean? Like that's a perfect time to throw some shit at the wall, see what sticks. Give your fucking talismans a rest. But and these results that cascade. That's what Brian said. So I wouldn't be saying these things if Brian didn't say the same exact things. He said that the reason he's running his guys into the fucking ground is because they didn't get a result at against LA.
Yeah, it's like a snowball effect. It's like
snowball.
we drop these points, so we have to play the guys that are tired, and then we drop more points because they're tired, and then we have to play them again because
they're
that.
tired again. And then they start to get hurt in the playoffs, Paul Rothrock. You know, that's what I don't want to see. I want to have all our weapons available, and I want to lean on some of our depth, because if we're the deepest team in the league, there's no reason that Christian Roldan has to play 4,000 minutes this year. And then the other thing I want to clarify is that Brian Schmetzer said these are playoff games. This is a playoff game environment now. And I talked about it with the team. We spoke about that, Jada. And the guy in the Sonics hat, he was making some great points. And Caleb, watch what you say about Nico Moreno. Say whatever
yeah,
you
no
want
coming
to
after
Ari.
Nico. I forgot about that.
Say whatever you want to Ari to his face. I don't care. Watch how you talk about San Nico. No, just kidding.
Anything else you wanted to cook on, Kenny?
Cooking. Jackson Reagan, what's happening, big guy?
That was tough.
Treetop lover. What's happening, man? He did make one of the best passes I've ever seen him make in this game.
Yeah, it was a great pass. Yeah.
Just a laser into the box for.
That was almost
I didn't
a goal.
realize.
Yeah.
Snyder looked great. Snyder, not great, but he's not a winger. Clearly not a winger at all.
Yeah, what was up with that?
Why can't he play in the middle and Georgie plays out wide? I know Georgie played more than Christian did in the international break, but these young guys, they can run and run and run in this Texas heat. And you see even the refs taking a water break, man. I want to save my guys. I don't want to put them through that and then put them in a position to not succeed. But Jackson Reagan, when you give away a free kick like that, remember he had that sloppy chop at the top of the box, free kick like that. I said if Nuhu did that, he'd be crucified and called a low IQ player. And then Jackson gives away that horrible dawdling on the ball. You're the last line of defense. And then someone was saying he was jogging back with his head down too. That's even more damning. Paul was better in this one than Miami, but still looks tired. And his communication with Nuhu was better. Speaking of Mr. Nuhu, he had the most touches in this match, the most tackles in this match, the most chances created in this match, tied. He was the highest rated non-scorer on Seattle and per FOTMob, and some other good things too.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
8% passing. He was okay.
I'd have to look at the concessions. I don't know.
But
if any of them were his fault.
Is that part of the strategy? Hey, make Nuhu have the ball on Seattle. If Nuhu has the ball, we're in a lot less danger. Is that part of the opponent's strategy? I wanted to ask you that, Ari. If you're game planning for the Sounders, how do you beat them? You seemed to touch on it a little earlier. Do you have any ideas?
As far as how Nuhu relates to that, or just in general?
Just in general. That was just a hypothesis, right? But look at that. Look how many touches he has, and I mean, I didn't know he was tied for the lead in chances created, but I mean, that's a good. That's a lot of feeding it to Georgie and letting him cook, though. You know,
which is a good strategy. They should be doing more of that, I think.
You can't do that when you only give him 45 minutes, Ari, and you're playing down. Well, I guess we were tied by that point, but and then some shots, like I said, some decision making in certain instances. Jesus Ferreira came on and was playing really well.
Yeah,
he just might be our best player. Our most
he looked real good in this game. That was like some of the sharpest passing that he's had, and he's been a great facilitator for this team.
But then he receives it at the top of the box, and he's got to turn, and he's got a little angle. There's not a lot of traffic in the box, and he pushes it away from goal, a little out of Jordan's reach, and Jordan can't quite get there. He doesn't want to slide for it or anything, you know. Do you remember that play?
I don't.
So there were a lot of times where we could have taken more shots at the from just taking the shot, you know, and then like Rusnak only had 2 shots, and I think both of them were blocked.
Oh, he had one that looked good. That was looking good off the. I think it was a volley that it would have been on target, but the guy blocked it.
Yeah. So it almost looked like it might have gone on target. You know, no, it was going on frame. But that's what I'm saying. He's sometimes criticized for getting a lot of block shots, but I also think he's good at creating his shot too. So it doesn't bother me. But in this one, it hurt us because you're a talisman and you're going 70 minutes off an injury, you know, or however long he played. But and then Obed too. He didn't just have the one great run. He had maybe
a couple,
3,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
3, and he ended
The
up
one in
having
particular was one of his better ones, but he had a couple.
So I described Obed during this match as like middle evolution Pokemon syndrome. You know what I mean? He's like Charmeleon before he gets the wings. He goes from like a nice Charmander to like got the mean eyebrows. Now he's got some claws, but he doesn't have the wings and the flamethrower yet. So he still needs to find his flamethrower, man. He still needs to find finish one of those runs off with a really good shot.
Oh my god! If he had finished that, I don't even know. I might have had to just end Lobbing
30
Scorchers.
million.
Yeah,
He's getting
exactly.
sun prices now.
The price would have gone way up with that one. Well, all right, Kenny, I got Doug in the queue behind you, but any else last quick takes wanted to get out there?
Quick takes. I don't really feed into the goalkeeper controversy too much. I think situationally you can use them differently. I just think Fry's leadership and his trust with the coaching staff is going to win out. Andy T had a great athletic save. Hey, but is Brad Stuver better than both our goalkeepers?
I think there is an element of analysis on this game that needs to give a lot of weight to Brad Stuver went freaking God mode. Like the fact that Seattle only scored 1 goal in this game based on the chances they generated is kind of crazy. And he was like the reason for that. He was going off.
And then the XG was still pretty close too. It was like 2.4 to 1.6.
It was over 2, which if you rock over 2 on the road, man, you probably played pretty well.
You're expecting 3 goals, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we had the same amount of shots on target as Austin, so that's another problem for me. We took a lot of shots.
I definitely didn't come out of it thinking like, oh, Austin FC is like way better than they got a good win. But.
Or we're way better than Austin. That's one of my big problems is we're not way better than a play-in team, and that's kind of where I wanted to be at this point in this season, regardless of the trophy and Leagues Cup. Just because I just like to be in a better spot right now, especially when my coach starts the week off saying these are all playoff games. So we gotta hold them accountable for.
I didn't hear him say that, but
he said these are playoff games starting now, and the team knows
Ronnie Dyla said that about Atlanta United like a couple months ago, and then they went on to lose like 5 games in a row, and their fan base kept being like, "Oh, we lost another cup final," and it became like a thing. So you got to be careful when you say stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what I want to say? I want to say arigato, Adi.
All right. I'm not sure what that means, but appreciate that, Kenny. Great call as always. And we'll catch you on the next one. All right. We got Doug, and then I think that's going to wrap it up for the night. Let's get him on the stage right now. Doug, welcome in. 2-1 L at Austin FC. Second straight L, 1 point from 3 matches since the Leagues Cup final. How are you feeling? What do you think of all this?
Not great. I feel like we had a huge head of steam kind of coming into the last couple of games, and it's really kind of tapered off a little bit. So I'm worried about what that means for us going into the playoffs. First off, kind of want to shout out Colin from NYC. Shout out to the BQECS. So that's a kind of New York City, Seattle supporters over here. So calling in from that. My main question for you though. Where was De La Vega tonight? Maybe you already covered this, but it seems like our ability to kind of break down teams in like unless we're going into transition or just lobbing it over the top, like is not there. Like he's the one guy on the team that can actually break down defense. Like I'm confused as to where he was tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's a good question. That's definitely a storyline we're gonna have to keep monitoring because he was in the squad tonight, but as I understand it, he's dealing with this like knee tendonitis that is it's kind of been dogging him really like for a while now, but it's sort of like a pain tolerance issue. And he's been training. Apparently he had like a great day of training the other day and stuff. But then I don't think he was even in Miami, and then he was in the squad tonight, but then didn't play. So yeah, no, I mean, it's not good that he hasn't been playing. I mean, I thought Georgie looked great playing over there in the second half, but it is like Pedro is just like a kind of different class of kind of anyone they have who plays that position. And he had been in such good form. And it just in general feels like if they are going to make a run and get back to playing at their ceiling, he's going to need to be a big part of it. So we'll see what happens with that. But as far as I know, there's nothing else other than this tendonitis thing, but it's kept him out the last couple games, and that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's really concerning going into the playoffs because it makes us really one-dimensional.
Yeah.
The other point I wanted to make here was also like, what does that mean for us like post this season? Obviously, we don't know how the playoffs are going to like play out, but like, where do we go from a transfer standpoint? We haven't really made a lot of moves recently. We're deep at pretty much every position. I would say, like, even including the 9 with Muzovsky and De Rosario kind of coming up. But like, where would you say we go in the transfer window, and how do we address this lack of ability to like break teams down outside of just the transition or long shot crosses?
Well, so I mean, the main thing we'll see what happens with the roster as far as if guys are coming off the books and stuff, but they still do have this like U22 spot that they were looking to fill with Noah Ohio. I'm wondering if they're thinking on whether that has to be used on a number 9 has changed at all with Osaze's emergence, or if it's still going to be a Noah Ohio type player that they go for with that. I don't know. I think you need like a JP replacement as well. That's kind of where my mind goes for like a spot to go get a guy and upgrade or just find like a future, because Obed's probably going to get sold.
Mhm.
You need, even with Snyder, you do need depth there. I think it's either going to be a number 9 or a center mid. I don't know. I kind of feel like I like the idea of center mid more, but it seems like they kind of want it to be a number 9. But those are where I would expect them to look. But for this season, I mean, this is what they got. So
Yeah, that's fair. And then, I'm also a little concerned about this, World Cup absences we're about to have.
Yeah.
Obed,
Yep.
A couple other players as well. I think Reed Bader-Waking, or sorry, Cody Baker, right?
No, it's RBW.
RBW, yeah, right. So a couple other players like that. Like, as deep as we are, like especially at the Obed spot, like I don't know how we fill that. I mean, I know JP is back, but like, how fit is he gonna be if he is not fully fit? Like, I don't know how we fill that position. So I'd be interested to kind of hear your thoughts on that.
I think you unleash Snyder B. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping the gun on that, but everything I've seen from him so far, like, not only is he holding his own, but I feel like he actively, positively contributes to the team when he's out there, to the point where there's been situations where I'm literally like, this game could use Snyder B right now. And that's not something I'm used to saying about like a 18-year-old homegrown player who just broke in. They played him at right mid tonight, which I don't know what was going on with that. I just didn't know that was a thing that they were going to do or that he does. But I think as long as Obed's out at the U20 World Cup with Mexico, you give Snyder more minutes at that spot. That's what I want to see them do, because I feel like he's A, earned it, and B, has he's shown upside that could be like, I don't want to put the pressure of like the next Obed on him, but he's got those kind of attributes. So that's what I would do. And then you work JP back there as well, and then Danny Lavo also can play there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. My one point of concern with that is like we're down to the wire, right? I mean, we got a couple games left. We're fighting for playoff positioning. I mean, I'm pretty hopeful. I'm pretty pretty sure we'll make the playoffs, but it's all about like, what does the playoff path look like, right? Like it worries me that this is the time where we're unleashing or trying out new players in new positions. I know it's kind of like, play the hand we're dealt, right? We can't do too much about it, but just cause for concern. Other than that, pretty happy with how the team has turned out so far.
Yeah, the timing of losing Obed and RBW right now isn't phenomenal, but I mean, it's good for them that they're getting that opportunity. So that's great. It's just they're already kind of struggling for depth right now, and it's gonna make it harder. How do you feel about as far as like did the winning Leagues Cup make any of this feel like house money to an extent, or are you okay? You're still on
everything else is kind of icing on the cake. I mean, listen, MLS Cup would be great, Supporter Shield would be great. At the end of the day, like with the amount of injury bugs that we've had this season, with the kind of the trials and tribulations that we've gone through, the fact that we're still walking away with a cup. Also against the evil empire that is Inter Miami, we made Messi, Busquets, and Suarez crash out on a national stage. I mean, you can't not be happy with that, right? So
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we always want to kind of push the team for more and have kind of that goldfish mentality of like, yeah, great, we won one thing, what's on to the next? But yeah, looking back on the season holistically, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, if it did come to it and the playoffs don't go well this year and they get knocked out and all they have to show for this year is the Leagues Cup. I mean, that like, maybe it's cope to say that the Leagues Cup made the season a success, but that was one of the greatest games in club history. That was phenomenal. Like not only packing Lumen and winning that game in front of 70K the way they did, but like you said, it was an international crash out that they elicited from Luis Suarez and all the Barca boys. So that's like that to me, that's like the type of stuff you're chasing. And if you are able to accomplish that in any given year, that's at least something that you want to do. So I think right now in the middle of all these not good results doesn't feel like that as much,
right?
But I guess it is kind of nice to know that there's already something to hang the hat on if it comes to it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more on that front. Whenever you can add a trophy to the to the trophy case, that's always a good season. So yeah, no, totally agree with you there. Last point before I have to go because it's a little late over here, but I think we can kind of officially say we're in the Andrew Thomas transition period. If not, we're already in the Andrew Thomas era. That save was very like prime Fry-esque.
It was, yeah. I don't know, because before this game, I was like, it seemed like that had been dusted as far as he was Fry was going to keep the spot, but then he gets sick for this game, and Andrew Thomas, that save was, I think, probably his best individual save of the season. That was incredible. So it's I guess it's one of those good problems to have, but it's also just like it's one of the tougher positional competitions and battles I can think of on this team in like a while, as far as just really no one having like a clear usually you can be like, all right, one guy has the clear edge, the inside track. This situation, it's like I don't know, but I think I kind of agree with what Jordan was saying earlier. Like at the end of the day, whoever it is, I don't think whoever's in goal is going to be the difference between them like winning or losing MLS Cup. Like they're both good goalkeepers at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a champagne problem to have, right?
Yeah.
You have two guys in goal that you absolutely trust. That's you can't ask for much more than that.
Exactly. Well, Doug, did you have anything else you wanted to cook on? You're the last one, so if you got anything,
no, that's it. Just really happy with how the season's gone so far, despite me kind of like pouring cold water on water on the results tonight. But I think things are looking pretty good for the team, and we'll continue to watch over here from New York.
Hell yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that you guys call in and that there's such like a prominent community of Rave Green fans out there. That's I guess it makes sense. There's kind of like everything in New York, isn't there? But how many people are are?
It
in that?
varies. It's a very small core group, but depending on kind of who's rolling through town or who we can kind of wrangle and wrangle out to a 10:30 game on a Saturday, it kind of fluctuates.
Do you have a bar, like a go-to bar you guys always go to, or is it
Yeah,
just
we usually meet. So there's a bar in Williamsburg called Banter that we'll all meet up at. So the reason, I shout out BQECS. So how that kind of started was there's a freeway that kind of goes through Brooklyn called the BQE. So we kind of piggyback the ECS on the back of BQE, and we came up with BQECS. So that's kind of
fire, yeah.
the Brooklyn Emerald City supporters group.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for the call, man, and have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one.
You too. Bye.
Take care. All right, guys, I'm going to call it right there as well. Thank you all for tuning in, as always. Oh, we got our first super chat of the stream right at the very end. Thank you, Azarata. Appreciate you for the 5. LS coverage has been great this summer. Good focus on what's important in the moment. Time to focus on beating our rivals. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the coverage all season. We're gonna stay at it through the rest of the season and all through the off season. Maybe not all through the off season, but I mean we were rocking the off season last year, so we're gonna keep it grinding. These are kind of the dog days of the end of the season right now. Few tough results, but everything's still to play for. So the train rolls on. Vancouver Whitecaps next weekend. I'll be back at it with Nico for kickoff tomorrow morning. I think so. He hasn't told me anything different. So should be back at it with Nico for kickoff tomorrow morning. We'll rock some Under the Lights on Thursday. So it should be a pretty normal week. And then post game after this Whitecaps match should be a go. I think I told you guys already, but I am going to be gone for the Portland game, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you could just like the video, sub to the channel, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for kickoff. Peace.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere, and some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.